Shalom, Allah Sarabah, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone, salutations to the fillet, that's pushing the truth across four corners of earth, all faith, truth, and sincerity. This I'm one about back when I was sitting. This one going to about the time of Jacob's trouble. Going forward in these times, a lot of so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites gonna be facing some real trying and hard times. The days of trouble, hardship, a lot of pain and suffering is gonna come about upon the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, in these last days and times. We already got things going on now, but it's gonna get way worse than, like I say, what you hear or see about. It's gonna get up close and personal as well. With a lot of months. It's gonna get up close and personal. Upon a lot of so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites. It's gonna be some real trying times. And like I said, the only ones that's gonna really make it out of it is the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites. 2/3 Israelites is gonna face judgment upon the Lord Yahweh Shai. Those that are not of that number, that the Lord Yahweh Shai is gonna have mercy in these times and going forward. That's the times that we're in right now. Time of Jacob's trouble, time of a lot of hardship, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering is gonna come upon the 12 tribes of Israel, of the Israelites. I don't get into it. It's Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for the day is great, so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So, the day is great. The time that we're in, time of Jacob's trouble, is going to be, like I say, and like it says, none like it, it's going to be, like I said, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of losses that the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American is going to take in these times, man. We're gonna see how these what Trump gonna do with these tariffs. He's talking about increasing more, China, and we'll see how things go. But the more it drags out, the worse it's gonna get. For a lot of people, especially for the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, things keep rising up to the point where if prices keep going up to the point where they can't afford this or that, it's gonna cost a lot of people, to just lose it. They're gonna just do what they gotta do to survive. Rob, steal, kill. It's gonna get serious. But the ones, like I say, but he shall be saved out of it. The ones that could be delivered out of it is the elect, the 144,000, the 1/3 of the Israelites. It's gonna be delivered from the times of Jacob's trouble. Gonna have mercy by the Lord Yahweh Shai in these times and going forward. But go to next chapter. Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of that people. And that shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time that people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So in the time of Jacob's trouble, like I said, the Lord Yahweh Shai is gonna, he's gonna, have mercy upon his elect. He's gonna deliver his elect from not unexpected, but you said unexpected circumstances, but circumstances where it's out of your hand. At that point, like if you done all you could to fight, to get out of the situation, or well, man, you just in a situation where you better hope Lord Yahweh you up that part of that number, that righteous number, the elect, that Lord Yahweh is gonna deliver you out of it, because that's what it is. It boils down to if you the elect or not. And Lord Yahweh gonna have mercy upon you when you in a dire situation that you can't get yourself out of. The only way you gonna get out of it is the Lord gonna deliver you out of it somehow. Like saying these times, only the elect gonna be delivered out of times of Jacob's trouble, man. And everyone that's written in the book of life, the elect, from the beginning, hopefully I'm part of righteous number, but only those that of that number that got that seal, with in them, that seal on their forehead that, from the beginning, that Lord Yahweh is gonna have mercy on delivering these times, these times of trouble, in this wicked in this wicked world, in this wicked, system that the so-called white man Esau Edomites, they in rulership right now, they in control, they in power, Only Lord Yahweh can really, intervene and deliver you out of the hand of the wicked, out of this wicked, so-called white man Esau Edomite system, and trying to, bring you down, bring you into, to not excuse me, to not believe in Lord Yahweh Shai, to believe in, the so-called white man Esau Edomite system, and believe in, in Satan, to come to the bad side, you say, the wicked side, right? To bow down to, Esau. Esau want the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, and everybody to bow down to them, to give, reverence unto them. The only elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites is not gonna bow down, not gonna give in, not gonna give up their faith, not gonna take the MOTB, the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. Only the elect is not gonna give in, man, in these times. No matter how hard or wild it's gonna get, how serious it's gonna get, only the elect, is gonna hold on to their faith in the Lord Yahweh Shai. The men of the Lord, the 1/3, those that believe, it's gonna keep their faith until it's all said and done. The Lord Yahweh Shai deliver you or not. Or like I say, you die. You die in the faith. But you're gonna, like I say, you're gonna have those that are not gonna die until the Lord Yahweh Shai returns, and the Lord Yahweh Shai gonna, make a way for those that aren't meant to die until he returns. He gonna make a way for them out of the situation. They're gonna be taken care of. They're gonna have something to eat, drink, and so forth. They're gonna have shelter. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about just keeping the faith. And that goes to me first and foremost. Hopefully, my faith is strong in the Lord Yahweh Shai, and until it's all sent to this, till he make his return, till it's all over with. I keep my faith. I don't bow down. I don't give in. I don't sell out. Anything like that. Hopefully, I keep my faith all the way up to the to the return of the Lord Yahweh Shai. I keep believing. It's all this boils down to. Keeping your faith. No matter how hard things get, not giving up on Lord Yahweh Shai. Because it's gonna get really, really serious in these times going forward. It's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna, have you like, man, what should I do? Should I just patiently wait on the Lord, or Yahweh Shai, or should I just give in, or to the system? It's gonna get like that, man. It's just gonna get real serious. But I'll go from there to okay, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'll go to 2nd Ezra 16:70. 2nd Ezra 16:70. For there shall be in every place And in the next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So it's gonna be a great uprising, upon those that fear the Lord, man. You know, especially in the Lord Apostle and the elders of Great Millstone. Persecutions. You know, it's gonna come upon. It's gonna come about. But Lord Yahushua is gonna be with His men that believe on Him. No need to have fear. Because like I say, you in this flesh. Me myself, like I say, you in the flesh. You might get startled or something like that. But if, like I said, Lord Yahushua with you, you're not gonna bend or break into what's in front of you. You're gonna be like, hey, it is what it is. But the truth, like I said, the true men, Lord, is not gonna fear nothing, not give in or bow down to the system, man. Gonna stand strong in the faith of Lord Yahweh Shai, no matter what is in front of him, But like I said, it's gonna be, a time of persecution, upon the men of the Lord, that's gonna come about. But Second Ezra 16:71, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So you're gonna have, you're gonna have these martial law troops, UN troops, whatever it may be, coming in. It's gonna be like madmen. They ain't gonna spare none. I'm sure they gonna come in, rush in, man. If you don't, comply to what they tell you. You're gonna have those, like I said, they're gonna come in, they're gonna round you up, say if you don't comply, they're gonna shoot you down, in the street, you're gonna have those that not gonna comply. You're gonna have people, get shot down in the streets, man, by the martial law troops, the military troops, or UN troops. And then those that, do give in, gonna go to a concentration camp, get what they say, re-educated, whatever it may be, get that chip, which is the mark of the beast, the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. Get chipped, to function in society, to buy and sell, But you're gonna have those that be in those concentration camps they still don't want to take the chip, they gonna get their head chopped off, however, it goes about. But like I say, you're gonna have those that get their head chopped off. Guillotine, right? They got guillotines set up for you in these warehouses or whatever it may be, these empty buildings, that you're gonna be in, and you don't know where you at. You just gonna be in an empty building, and and you gotta make a decision. If you don't comply, you're gonna get your head chopped off. But like I say, that's what's that's gonna come about, man. Go to this verse. Second Ezra 16:72. But they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their household. Yeah. Like I was just saying, you can have any martial law troops, UN troops, whatever may be, coming to your houses. Hey, like I said, they ain't gonna give a damn about nothing you talking about. They gonna come and take what you got. Take your stuff over, take you out your house, throw your stuff out with them. It's just gonna get real serious out here, man. Gonna get real serious, man. The time of Jacob's trouble it's gonna be a serious thing, real serious thing. And we got a lot of Jake out here, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, still not really preparing themselves spiritually of how things, how really bad it's gonna get out here in America. About gonna great, in the future, as time gonna tell, but definitely heading in that direction. Or when things it's gonna get worse and worse, man. Not gonna get no better. It's gonna be a lot more deaths. It's gonna be to the point where there ain't gonna be no funerals. You're gonna have people out here dying in droves. I say ain't gonna be time no more. Yeah, keep moving. How crazy we get out here, man. But 2 Ezra 16:73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen. They shall be tried as gold. They shall be tried as the gold in the fire. So you're going to know who the elect is in the time of Jacob's trouble and all hell breaking loose. You're going to know who Lord Yahweh is dealing with, who has a hedge of protection on, in those times, that nothing is going to harm them. Nothing's going to phase them in the Lord. They're going to be strong in the faith of Lord Yahweh in the time. Those that had faith in Lord Yahweh, it's going to be protected, man. It's going to be, it's going to be something. It's going to be something really, really great to see, to experience, and knowing that Lord Yahweh with you, nobody can harm you, nothing can harm you, Lord Yahweh taking care of you, you got something to eat, food coming out of nowhere, you got a place, to stay, you got to, clean yourself up and so forth, right? And, you ain't really stressing about much as, you're going to have 2/3 Israelites, people out there stressing and struggling, trying to get something to eat, trying to find somewhere to stay, scrambling. And I say the Lord not with them, and you're going to have those women that, did the men of the Lord wrong, or made fun of the men of the Lord, and, and when that time comes, they're going to see, like, oh, no, like, they're going to be begging, to be taken, to be, taken so they can have that protection. But it ain't gonna happen. Like I said, the men of the Lord they're gonna have like a remembrance. Like, oh no, I can't take it. You did me wrong. I'm sorry, go your way. No, don't come this way. I'm not taking you, So it's gonna come to that point, you're gonna have, women. You're gonna have women that gonna be saved. That is gonna be, have that hedge of protection by the man of the Lord. Gonna be under a man of the Lord that the Lord Yahweh is dealing with. That the Lord Yahweh is dealing with a man of the Lord in those times when all hell breaking loose. Things is chaotic. You have men of the Lord gonna have multiple women. In those times, and they're gonna be in the water. Ain't gonna have no trust but to be shit. But that time coming, man. A great humbling is coming upon a lot of so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites. Kind of seeing it, but isn't right now, but not as. It's not there yet. It's a lot of still proud Jakes out here. That lawyer got humble. Ain't into that point yet. But it's gonna get to the point. It's gonna get. So like I said, gonna be a great humbling upon a lot of so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites that Lawyer Shah gonna, it gonna be made known that, hey, there's a higher power at work here that's, making these things come about. Like I said, the lack of food, the cutoff, and there's gonna be a cutoff of things in America. You can't do this, you can't do that no more. You can't. You're gonna have more restaurants closing down. You can't go to the restaurant, they close down your streetway, or whatever it may be, You're gonna be curfews, so you only can stay out to this certain time for everybody, not just for teenagers. It's gonna be for everybody. You can't probably at 10 o'clock. If you ain't in the house at 10 o'clock, they're gonna probably take you to a concentration camp or something like that. It's gonna get that crazy out here. To the point it's gonna be curfew for everybody, So that's how, what I'm saying? You're gonna have police sirens and ambulance, going back and forth, but then go get to a point where you ain't gonna hear that shit because, it's gonna be too overwhelming for the cops and ambulance to even respond to what's going on in the cities. It's gonna get wild out here, man. But on this verse, 2 Ezra 16:74. Hear, O you, my beloved, said the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So the beloved, I said, the house of David, the 144,000, 1/3, the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, that's going to be delivered. They have mercy by the Lord Yahweh Shai. Hopefully I'm probably watching another Lord Yahweh Shai have mercy on me. I'm hoping. You know, I'm hoping and praying. Hey, you know, everything, Lord will gotta happen, prophecies gotta come about. Hey, you can't stop what, was already ordained from the beginning, right? So I just wanna go on to that, man. That's the times that we're in, man. Times of great trouble and tribulation ahead, man, for a lot of so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, man. And like saying those Israelite camps or whoever may be, Baptist church preachers, those that, saying, oh, ain't no time of Jacob's trouble coming about. Hey, it will be. It's gonna shock a lot of you. It's gonna have a lot of you. You can't say shit when it goes down. It's gonna take a lot of you by surprise, man. How bad and crazy and wild it's gonna get out here, man. How many crazy, wild people out here gonna be just doing what they gotta do to survive. Gonna have people out here eating people, like I said, for the lack of food. You know what I'm saying? Or taking what you got. So that's how bad it's gonna get out here, man. It's not gonna be a pretty sight. As I say, it's gonna be horrific things, happening, man, around you, to the point it's gonna shake you up. That's how bad it's gonna get, man. But in the future, as we go forward, it's how things get with these tariffs, what Trump gonna be doing, if this is where this is heading to, is a great economic crash to where there's no return of, ain't no the dollar and the paper dollar ain't gonna be about nothing. The credit cards can't do nothing. Can't buy or sell with none of that. You know what I'm saying? You can't pay with that. And the only solution gonna be is the RFID chip, which is the MOTV, the mark of the beast. And it's like it's heading towards that, So we'll see how things go. But I just want to do is sit down. So again, like about President, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahshua, Bahashem, Kaladash, to the apostle elders, to the Sisaka brothers, to the few Aqua officers, so to do listen, keep the faith, and Yahshua keep fighting. That says Shalom.